have 34.5-week twins. We spent about 2 weeks in the NICU. They were both born a little over 4 pounds, and that was something I never expected.
I am the father of 2 preemies who were at 23 weeks, one of which stayed in the hospital for about 10 months and the other one passed away after about 2 months.
I had premature triplets. I delivered my first son at 22.5 weeks and then managed to stay pregnant for 3.5 weeks and delivered my other 2 sons at 26 weeks. And so, like everybody, the neonatal intensive care unit was a big shock for me.
Hi, my name is Kelly. I am the founder and executive director of Hand to Hold. I started this organization to support parents who have had an experience with prematurity or the birth of a child with a special health care need. My son Jackson was born at 24 weeks gestation in 2000, and he experienced numerous complications and challenges. He spent 4 months in the neonatal intensive care unit, and the subsequent year was filled with lots of doctor's visits and medical issues and challenges. He's now 10 years old and he's doing wonderfully, but his life has been full of different therapies: speech therapy, physical therapy, occupational therapy, and lots of ongoing sensory integration challenges.
We knew early on that he would be born slightly early and perhaps with a few complications, but after he was born, developed a really horrible intestinal infection, necrotizing enterocolitis. At 9 days old, he had emergency surgery, and we found out later that his odds of surviving were 2 in 10. Fortunately, we didn't know that at the time, but Luke's stay in the NICU was a lot longer than we thought it would be. It was 44 days instead of the week that we thought we would breeze in and out, and it was certainly very overwhelming. It was very difficult to be in an environment that felt very sterile, very medical, and certainly not a nurturing place, or certainly not the place where we thought we would be with Luke.
When my son died, I was really unprepared for that experience. I don't think anybody can be prepared in any way for that. I think death is very abstract for you until it sort of hits very close to home. And when it's your child, it's completely different than when it's even your parent or your best friend, or I think even a sibling. And there was obviously a lot of grieving that had to happen, but at the same time, I still had to worry about my 2 sons who I was still pregnant with. So I really didn't have a chance at the time, I think, to grieve. I realized after I started working on my book that I actually suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder related to my son dying. And for me, I had sort of the video loop of his sort of death going through over in my head over and over and over again. And as I was writing the chapter, I was like, oh my gosh, that's what happened to me.
My second experience with prematurity came when I delivered my son, Miles. And that was 3 years after I had Gianna. My water broke unexpectedly with him at 21 weeks after we did what we thought was everything to avoid another premature birth. I delivered him at 23 weeks gestation. It was a very emotional time because we knew that we were not going to send him to the NICU for rescue. And we made that decision, my husband and I, because he was without necessary fluids to sustain his life. So we wanted the pleasure of loving him and holding him his entire life. Excuse me. What we didn't want to do is we didn't want to send him to a NICU and watch him get plugged up to machines and then watch each organ blow. So we decided we would love him and hold him in our arms and keep him with us until that time came. And as you can tell, it's a very difficult experience. And although it was 4 years ago, it's something I'll never forget.
When Luke was born, we did not really know what we were about to experience. We felt that he would have a few challenges, but little did we know that, again, the the stay in the NICU was going to be as long and the subsequent surgeries that he was going to have. And I can't tell you how important Hand to Hold has been to me and to Catherine and to Luke and the rest of our family, because there's a certain community there. The people that will help you with that, the people that will help walk down this journey with you and to be with you at those moments when you most need that. Because none of us really know what we're about to experience with a child that's born early or might have a NICU experience for a longer stay in the hospital. So having that community and that bond of people and volunteers to walk with you on that journey is very, very important.
As a nurse, I've seen a lot of triumphs. I've seen a lot of tragedies, especially in NICU being my specialty. And I would like to invite parents who have lost a baby or parents who have had NICU babies to call Hand to Hold and become a mentor parent and be able to share your experience with others and be able to help others. You know what it's like. You know what you went through. And being able to help those other families would make what you went through even more meaningful.
I think the experience that you have, any parent that has going through the neonatal unit with a preemie, is you don't really have any of the answers, and you don't really have the questions to ask the nurses, to ask hospital staff, to ask the doctors. And I think one of the benefits, or the major benefit of what Hand to Hold is trying to do, is connecting you with other parents that can provide some of the answers, but more importantly, help you through and maybe give you some questions to ask to make your experience more comfortable and more peaceful and less stressful than it otherwise would be if you didn't have that contact with other people that have experienced it and gone through it through that entire process.
It was very interesting to me when I started researching post-traumatic stress disorder and postpartum depression, to not only that those are such painful conditions for parents to go through, but these conditions actually have physical effects on babies. They can affect actually not only how a baby's nervous system develops and their brain develops, and also have long-term ramifications. What I found really fascinating was one of the best interventions in several really well-done medical studies was being involved with peers. That was enough to really mitigate those effects, and those babies did so much better compared to the babies whose parents didn't enroll in those kinds of programs.
I think one reason why this volunteer effort means so much to me is it provides a legacy for my son's life, and no parent should have to experience something like that without feeling support. And this is one way I could celebrate him and justify his existence and the experience that we've had, because we don't have the luxury of birthdays and other celebrations for him. But anytime I'm called upon to help somebody else who has a similar loss, it makes me feel good to know that I can do something positive in his memory.
Some of the areas that Hand to Hold is really focused on right now are educating parents about the challenges their child might face and providing the resources and information to help them meet those challenges. We also want to encourage counseling, be it individual or couple and family counseling when that is needed. And we also want to help parents navigate the system of their insurance and medical needs and help them find the right resources to meet those needs. By providing this information and these services, we hope to empower parents to be very effective and powerful advocates for their children. Welcome to Hand to Hold. I hope it will be a blessing to you and to your family.